Imagination Podcast. I am Josh Lamar Morris III, co-host. I welcome my special guest, Al-Jalil Williams, producer, screenwriter, director of film. Episode 21, The Life of a Director and Producer and Screenwriter. First question, Al-Jalil. Tell me and listeners your story.
Well, my story is I'm from Newark, New Jersey. Um, Lived in my whole life. Got really into acting when I seen my uncle, whose name is Jermaine Hopkins. He played in Lean on Me and
Oh, okay.
Juice and a few other films. And I saw how at first it was just because I saw the love he got. So that's why I wanted to do it. But I started to fall in love with it the more I acted and, did school plays and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, in high school, I took it a lot more serious. That's when I wrote my first script at 17, and we was gonna film it, but it was towards the end of the senior year, and nobody came to school, so we couldn't really film it. Um, but after that, I went on auditions and didn't really get many roles, so I said I'm gonna make my own opportunities. And 11 films later, here I am.
Great, great, great. That's good. You stay consistent and determined. You didn't give up. That's great. Second question.
Yeah.
Tell me and listeners the life of a writer, producer, and director of film.
Well, I'm being transparent and honest. I don't live that life completely right now. I still work a job and finance myself. Self fund all my projects and stuff like that. But when I am living in that world, it's a lot of logistics because I'm a one man band. I wish I had help. I reach out to some people, but everybody's schedule is different. So it's a lot of, I typically, when I write my stuff, I write it all, like I take a day or two, write everything. And then as time goes on, I go back and edit and make changes and make corrections and things like that. So that's how I do it. I don't know how other people do it, if they may just jump around, but I write from scene one to the end and I go back and edit and rechange things because I like to get it out while it's there and then, you know, uh, change it later because sometimes the first draft ain't the best.
Great, great, great advice. What advice will you give new screenwriters, producers, and directors of film?
Um, the best advice I can give is if that's what you feel you want to do, just work on it, do research and try if you can link with other people because I don't care what field you're in. If you don't know nobody, it's going to be very, very hard unless you get super lucky to become successful and do it as a full-time job or to even show your talents off. I mean, honestly, you only need one person that got some juice uh, to really be successful.
Right, great, great. Tell me and listeners about your films you produced.
Um, well, the first two were All Gone and Two Sides. All Gone was about a father who found out after 6 years that his daughter that he raised wasn't his, and he just had to talk to his brothers about it. Didn't know how to deal with it going forward, uh, and kind of turned out a little tragic. Two Sides is about two friends who grew up together, and one went to college, one stayed in the streets, and a few years later, the one who went to college came back and is, trying to get his man to leave the streets alone and come, mess with him and kind of have a tragic ending. The type of films that I make are typically real life situations, and some of the things that I've been through, and some of the things that you know just happen. I mean, my two latest films, which is The Word, which in short is about black man Eric and his white friend who they've been friends for a long time. The white friend's name is Ryan, and Ryan is very wealthy, and he always tries to help Eric. Trying to give him some money, just give him gifts because he's not trying to buy his friendship. Eric is the only friend that's there for Ryan, not for what he can do for him. And Ryan is Ryan is like, I can't really like, treat you how I like to because your pride. So Eric is the guy, kind of like myself, who says the N word a lot. And Ryan one day says, "How about I buy it from you?" And he's like, "What? Buy the rights to say the N word?" And the short film is from a feature film that I wrote about the 2 week trial period of him uh, wanting to buy the N word, the rights to say the N word from
Right.
Eric. Um, and a lot of people say, I just say, if you can watch Marvel and all these other movies, just suspend your belief for a second and believe that this can happen. It's the first time in history of the world somebody's selling their rights to use a word, meaning that they can never use that word again, at least not publicly. So the film is about Eric pretty much like he's selling his rights to say the word. Now, it's two ways that it can really work out, and neither one of them are good. Since he's put it out there now, if he doesn't take it, because it's a lot of money, life-changing money for a lot of people will say he's being selfish and wants to just keep using that word. Now, if he does take it, wait, okay, am I frozen?
No, you good. I hear
Can you
you.
hear me? Okay. Um, And Eric says, it's like Eric is like, if I don't take it, then people will be like, oh, well, it's just this word, and I could have sacrificed the word for the greater good. But if I do take it, people will say that I'm a sellout, and then it's like, if you don't help people, you may not help them enough, or you help them too much. Or it's just a whole big thing with that, and that's what the short film is about, like the decision Eric has to make since he made an announcement, and people are gonna be watching. And the other film, Hand to Hand, is about a gun that goes from one person to the next person. The person that it starts out with, who has the gun in the beginning, it gets back to them. That's like the best way to tell it without no. It is the gun goes from different people, different couples and people, and they have the gun and use the gun and ditch the gun.
Right.
That's the best way I can tell it without giving too much away for both of those projects.
It's all good. It's all good. Okay. Tell me and listeners about being a TV assistant for HBO Max.
Well, yeah, I currently work for HBO Max as a production assistant, but I'm on the COVID side, but I've been a regular production assistant, and being a production assistant is the same across the board. Pretty much, you just like you're on set, you making sure people are staying quiet. If you're outside or on location or somewhere, like you make sure people don't walk across where they're filming, like by the cameras and stuff like that. And you there like to give directions on where to go. Like if we're on location or even if we're on the stage, it's like go here, go there, and don't walk here and go. It's like one of the most important parts of any production, but it's like the least spoke about, the least known. But without production assistants, if production assistants didn't work for a week, a lot of productions would be shut down because we do the things that the big people can't do because it'll take up
Okay.
too much time. Instead of a 10 to 12 hour day, it'd be a 17-hour day if we wasn't there. Because we
Wow.
get food and drinks for people, who can't leave the set. We do a lot. We do an actual lot for these productions, and it's a fight to get us more money than get us unionized, but you know that's where it stands right now. It's a lot. It
Okay.
yeah, it's a lot.
Great. 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 Tell me and listeners about your acting career.
Um, well, my acting career was pretty much some plays I've done when I was in school and um, things that I made myself. I've been in two other projects that weren't mine as an actor. I had a very small role, but those projects never came out. I've seen them, but they haven't been put out mainstream. Like I said, when I was younger, that's like what I really wanted to do was be an actor. And the older I got, and the more I started doing, my own projects, I'm like, it's kind of hard to wear all these hats, and you got to decide which one you want to do, especially if you know um, you put in a lot of time and effort, trying to make your own projects. It's hard to be the director and a producer and a PA at the same time because I got to drive people back and forth to set. It's just a lot. So I'm deciding. I like to be creative and be behind the scenes. Um, I'm not saying I'm closed to the door of acting, but right now I really want to focus on directing and getting, some stories that need to be told.
Right. Good luck with that. Last question. Tell me and listeners where we can find you online. Any additional valuable information you want to share?
Um, well, you can follow me online at Al-Jalil, WALJALILW, on Instagram, on Twitter. It's just Al-Jalil, ALJALIL. On YouTube is youtube.com/handsome dad films. And like I said earlier, if you want to do it, the best thing to do is just to do it. I had to work when I was younger because as soon as I graduated high school, I had a daughter. So I didn't really have that time. Like I could have, but I was just focused on trying to be a good dad and be there and be supportive that I didn't really think about my career further in it, at least for 3 years, because, you know, I had responsibilities to take care of. But if you got an opportunity, and you're passionate about it, just do it. Reach out to people. There's a lot more programs than it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago when I was younger. So look into those programs, try to get into one and go for it. I'm 36 years old. I'm not really where I want to be, but I feel like I'm close. So
Great. Great. Thank you for coming on and being my guest on my Greatest Imagine podcast. And
thanks for
look
having
forward
me.
to talking to you in the future, maybe even networking.
I got you. Thank you.